That is tough times right
I
now
don't know.
for Florida State fans. Boys, let's get into our rebound team of the week. Look, there wasn't many to choose from given the big losses that came through, but we did find one. The Dogs get it done against Auburn. At a time when the Dogs needed it most. I said this was going to be a close one. I'm going to say right now from a Wednesday show on our pick'ems, I was hot. I was hotter than hot. Told you these spreads were ridiculous. One of them being Georgia favored by 24. I said, look, Georgia will cover. I said 28-10. Would it end up being like 28-13? I mean, the kid knows his stuff here, okay? Thought Georgia would go out there. Still didn't look fantastic, but Auburn, again, was a wounded dog licking their wounds. They needed to bounce back. You like our little thing there? Freeze right there, because Hugh Freeze is just frozen with what's happening to him right now at Auburn. They're still recruiting out of their mind. They still have a dream they can sell. But Georgia's kind of looking around. Again, I think Georgia gave the blueprint in that second half. I think Vandy saw what happened there, and that's kind of where Georgia, and that's our Georgia guy, Jack Mack, was very ecstatic on how they looked and how they were favored heading into, after that game, because they felt like they found a rhythm. They found a way to win. And even Uncle Lou was saying, Bama builds to beat Georgia. Georgia builds to win championships, which I absolutely loved Uncle Lou getting rowdy on that one. But Cody, what were your thoughts on this game, man?
Just really concerned about Georgia, and they just like walk in and just sleepwalk the first half, and it's gonna get you beat. You got beat by Alabama a couple weeks ago, and now Auburn goes up quick, like to like a score and a half, and you're sleepwalking. There's just like no type of urgency with that team until it's like the second half. Like I don't know. It's going to get you beat against a lot better teams via Texas, Vanderbilt, and some others.
Oh, Miss Ty.
Oh yeah, I mean when I watched the game, you know, Carson Beck, he once again he was very efficient. He did what he wanted, but one of their touchdowns literally was an overthrow, and it landed in the receiver's hands. And he takes off for the end zone. I mean, I think this game was 21-10 going to the fourth quarter. I was not thoroughly impressed with Georgia, but Auburn's not obviously a high-powered offense. They don't have enough ability to go in and like come back from behind on a team like Georgia. But moving forward, Georgia, if they get behind against somebody like Texas, they're going to be in trouble, and they're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to do what they're doing to these other teams. So obviously, they made the comeback in Alabama last week, and they were trying to get it together. But then again, is Alabama as good as we think they are? Like I don't know. Like so, Vandy seems to think not. So I don't know. Moving forward, like they handled their business on a week where favorite teams were not handling their business. So like I guess you can say it was okay, but once again, I don't know if anyone covered this week, and we did talk about that earlier in the week.
Yeah, look, we talked about it as well. Good teams find a way to win. They found a way to win in a week where everybody was disastrous. USC goes down. These teams we're not talking about, so we're gonna give them honorable mentions. Michigan falls to Washington, which I saw Washington was favored by 2, and I go, there's no way, right? Clearly, running the ball 600 times and throwing it for 10 times a game finally got figured out. I'm surprised that USC couldn't figure it out, but leave it to Jed Fish and Washington. Like, hey, you're not going to just run the football. USC goes down to Minnesota. Welcome to the Big Ten. Am I right? I mean, we just were talking about before the show. I said it early on. I go, this may be the first year we see a team not go undefeated. And there may be like your one-offs, right? Like a
Tennessee, Arkansas.
Yeah, Tennessee. I was getting into that. Tennessee, Arkansas. There may be your one-off, like kind of smaller schools that find a way to go undefeated. But even UNLV fell to Syracuse. I think Ty and I had Syracuse this week as well. Look, let's head into this real quick because the show is brought to you by, of course, BetUS. And when you use the code YouTube150, you get back 150% on your first 2 deposits, and then 125 on your third deposit when you go to betus.com and use the code YouTube150. And if you guys followed along on our Wednesday show for our pick'ems, I was dialed in on the spread, and I took Gators money line and locked in. We did 7 picks. I was 6 for 7. The only game that I was wrong on was the South Carolina Gamecocks and Ole Miss game, and I was an emotional pick. Because Lane Kiffin has proven to me to kind of let me down, and he was able to bounce back. Although there was some a little bit of drama with players falling down when the hurry up would happen, and Shane Beamer had some things to say about that. But all in all, we call the upset week happening. I didn't think it'd be this crazy. I was thinking the spreads were a little outlandish. And again, it kind of just shows that Vegas is kind of, I think, running either they're doing this on purpose because you've talked about that before, or they're in complete shambles because of just with the amount of flip-flopping with the NIL, with the realignment of the conferences, with the Big 12, with the team going, or the playoff going to 12 teams now. So much has changed in the year. The whole landscape is different, right? The whole mindset, the whole approach is different. I talked about it in my show earlier on Sunday with, is it NIL? Is it the kids don't care as much? Is it like social media? Like, what is this pool? Is it because the playing field's a little bit level? I don't know. We'd have to do a study to find out. I think it's a little bit of all of it kind of accumulating to the top is why we're seeing so many teams fall. And look, I don't think this is going to be the only week that happens. I think we'll see this a couple of times throughout the year, to be honest with you.